Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here with the full moon reading, full moon wolf reading for February, and that will be on the 11th according to my calendar, 11th of February 2017. So what I do here, and before I get started, I tend to forget, I also have what I call a masculine moon reading. And what was it? Just this morning I had a better idea. I was maybe calling interior and exterior. No, interior, inward and outward, I think is what I was going to call it. So this would be the feminine or inward wolf reading, and there is going to be a masculine or outward also new moon wolf or full moon wolf reading. So what we have here is a mission. And then we have a higher purpose, earthly purpose of this mission, and then the personal benefit or focus, personal focus or benefit to this higher purpose. In other words, this is our motivator. And these are some of the ways that it's going to manifest. Now, wolves are pack animals, so what we have down here, the three on the bottom, is your pack dynamics, pack strength, and pack weakness. And I think this all holds together quite well. I know one of the cat readings, the waxing moon cat readings, was really together so well. It's quite a brief reading, so maybe this one will be too. I know it's easier for people to listen to the entire video if it's not 30 minutes long. So let's see what we have here. First card is Hesperides. This is from the Goddess deck, and I can't remember exactly what is it called. Ancient Feminine Wisdom of Goddesses and Heroines. These are the guardians of the golden apples, the Hesperides. So let me read to you a little bit. So I definitely needed to have my own understanding of the Hesperides refreshed. Living at the Earth's far western extreme, the Hesperides are the guardians of the golden apples of immortality. And I take that the whole aspect of it being the far western extreme is that sort of isolation is part of the protection. Whoever ate the golden apples would never again feel hunger, thirst, or sorrow. Also guarding the golden apples is Ladon, the serpent fed and cared for by the Hesperides. So it's like, and you see the serpent in the tree there, so it's part of their guardianship is actually nurturing that serpent and keeping that serpent alive. The snake is later, so you could think even of that snake as a strategy, you know. You can always say what came first, the Hesperides or the snake, but I'm guessing as the guardians it's the women, and planted the snake in the tree to help ward people off of it. Oh, and then it just says the snake is later immortalized as Draco, the Serpentine constellation. I'm not going to worry too much about that. The Hesperides are guardians of soul treasures and sacred knowledge, accessible only to those, oh, I lost my place, I looked up and lost my place, who have embarked upon a heroic quest. The golden apples are symbols of strength, wisdom, and knowledge that allow the hero to explore the darker regions of the soul. When the Hesperides appear, they brighten the atmosphere, suggesting that the treasure of the soul can be sought through inner tasks and journeys. So yes, guardianship, and I think the guardianship in part includes, again, kind of removing to a place, you know, of seclusion, so that it's not readily accessible. But yes, so these are particularly for the hero. Where'd they go? There they are. Yes, accessible only to those who have embarked upon a heroic quest. So to get there, you have to go through trials. And so that remoteness, that is part of a trial. And if you manage to get there, then I'm sure they will give you another trial before imparting the golden fruit to you. Okay, so they're kind of the pot of gold here at the end of not a rainbow, but a quest, or a difficult time in general. So yeah, it's not that we are not the questers necessarily, I think, because this is saying that our mission is to guard this treasure that we have. So that's our mission, is to guard. And then the first card that comes up among the others is this picture of Venus, it's a painting of Venus, and this stands for beauty in this deck, which is the Grail code. So this stands for beauty, and you can see that there's an interesting dynamic here, that you have these two figures here, or actually it looks like only one is blowing. One person is blowing the garments kind of away and her hair away from her in order to expose her, whereas this woman is trying to cover her. So it's like something, and this is Venus on her shell, so this is as she's being born. As she's being born. So the attempt to protect something that is new and vulnerable. You know, this is the half of the picture I take to relate to guardianship. So something sacred that needs to be protected. That is the higher purpose. The earthly purpose of this guardian energy, of this mission, is tolerance. So this shows a woman, I'm not sure what plant that is. Excuse me. I was fine all morning, but now that I'm doing a video, I need to sneeze. And what she has here is a centaur, and my impression is that that ship back there may have been hunting the centaur. He's been rejected, or perhaps they abandoned him on some island or something to waste away. In any rate, you can see the expression on his face is very downcast and persecuted, and she is looking at him with an expression of acceptance, forgiveness, tolerance, you know? Understanding his nature for who he is and not persecuting him for it. So that's our earthly, so, you know, it's essentially, these go, all of these cards here, right here from the Grail code, go very well with the guardian mission. Alright, so we're to guard those who feel persecuted. That is part of the mission. What is tender, what is beginning. Those who feel persecuted, misunderstood. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, it could be a child in the home who's feeling misunderstood. And it's a matter of comforting that child and giving them a feeling of having a place of their own or being accepted. And then here for such a sad card, beautiful sad card here. I need to put the names of these paintings on the backs of the cards or something. So yes, this is obviously grief. The card is titled by the maker of the deck, Letting Go. And this is what what you are getting out of the mission. This guardian mission is what you are getting out of it, and or personal benefit or focus for you. And again, here's you have the tender virgin. Well, I don't know if we want to call it Venus, but anyway. And here again, you have the young girl who is deceased on a funeral boat, I guess, barge, something like that. So what I'm wondering if there is some personal grief about what was lost, or the other thing we could be guarding here is grief. You could be guarding someone else, or perhaps your own, this grieving process, guarding the grieving process, acknowledging the grief of others. But in terms of the benefit to you, my feeling there is that we may, there are people among us who may have experienced a loss in the past, and so this is helping us cope with that grief or that loss. This position of guarding others or helping others is helping us get over a loss. In other words, say this man decides to be a guardian, a guard for a convent in honor of his lost child, or helping someone else on the periphery. Maybe he guards the roadway so that people can come and go, or does some other mission. So that's call this kind of your motivation for whatever guarding that you're going to do, your personal motivation. Now, this is about packs, so you have a pack with you to help you with this mission. So, hang on just a second. Thank you very much. So the first card is Power. And that is a marvelous card to have for pack dynamics. That means it could be that there's a leader that stands out, but this could also be the mission itself. And you see you've got these ocelot or leopard-like animals down here that are attracted to that power. So my feeling here is sort of a coming together, a consolidating, that is an agreement perhaps on who the leader is or where the power is, and that is that's your pack dynamic right now, is people consolidating and coming together. Could just be your family coming together for some reason around some mission. It could be your community coming together. But I'm trying to show you here that she has all the points of the compass up around her head. So, it's a matter of things coming together from all directions, pulling from all directions. She has the power to go in all directions, and but she's also pulling people to her from all directions. People or animals or whatever the case may be. It could even be that there are animals involved in whatever you're guarding this right now. Strength is intuition, and I think this is about kind of bridging the other side or communication. You can see she's got these funky curly cues up here on her head, elaborate headdress, and there's a bridge there between two spurs of land, and then there's the lovely river. And so part of this intuition card, and she also has a dove on her shoulder to communicate to her, is communication. But it may not be straightforward communication with this particular card, since it's called intuition. I'm going to say this. It might not merely be feeling. It might be a combination of what I call holistic thinking. So it might very well be quite mental energy that is a focus, but it's meshing. It's not strictly intellectual. It's meshing holistically with everything that you know, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, is all kind of coming together. And as a pack, your strength is intuition. And I think that this means that you somehow know, like, what the next person's actions are going to be. That's part of your pack strength, is that even if you're not in direct sight of another member of the pack, you know how they're going to be responding to a certain action. And you can then act accordingly. It's like, wolves are known for their hunting strategies, and that in fact they can do that. They seem to understand, every person seems to understand their role when they in fact do start to hone in on a group of a herd of something, whatever it may be, elk, whatever. And even though it's not like they're howling back and forth to each other or anything, or speaking as we would normally, they are able to communicate and intuit how they're going to work together to bring down which individual has been decided to prey upon, and how they're going to bring it down. So there you go. That's strength. Here's a weakness, and this is enchantment. And so I'm taking this to be, in this reading, distraction, because that's of course what she is. For the sailors, she's there on the rocks, and they try to get too close, or they're not paying attention, and they break themselves upon the rocks close to the shore there. So that's the danger of mermaids. Now I will say this, well, I can't see that for individuals, though, but I'll say it anyway. She's also very preoccupied with her own ability to entice or woo. And so I would say as a weakness, this is don't rely on that, or don't become self-centered, really was what was coming to me. Don't become self-centered. Make sure that everybody in your pack, when you're on mission, that you're not being distracted. There's a real danger of being distracted by things that are, I think, in this particular instance, facile, shallow, not important, etc. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to belabor the reading. That's our full moon wolf reading, our inner, did I say? Inner or inward moon reading, and there is an outward masculine full moon wolf reading. I usually put them up on YouTube within minutes of each other, to the extent that I can. As in technology, to the extent that technology allows me. So if you're looking at this, probably the other one is up there too, or will be very shortly. Alrighty, thanks so much for stopping by, listening, liking, sharing, and subscribing to my videos. And I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.